25 years ago, Mennonite Church Eastern Canada was formed. Over that time, the church has grown and changed. Reflecting on our past, the leadership team is now looking forward to the future. Through God's direction, how might we be shaped into the church of tomorrow? In the previous sections, we discussed identity and mission. What does it mean to be Anabaptist, and how can churches retool their mission as a new generation engages with the church? The final piece is unity through diversity. With more than 100 congregations across Eastern Canada worshiping in many languages, what will keep us together as a unified church? We invite you to join the conversation.
I think that congregational life in the next 25 years is going to look a lot different than it does now. A lot more diverse is my suspicion. Just look what's happened in the last 25 years. We planted some new seeds, and look what God has done. MCEC is now worshiping in at least a dozen different languages. Can you imagine?
Well, you know, David, if current trends are any indication, you can bet that MCEC is going to become even more diverse in the future. Look at what's happening, for example, in the church building at the corner of 14th Avenue and Kennedy Road in Markham. It's a quiet Mennonite miracle in the making, I would say.
Absolutely. 3 Anabaptist cultures using one facility. Hagerman and the Markham Chinese Church have been working together for years being Anabaptists there. 3 years ago, they welcomed the Markham Christian Worship Center, a Tamil church, to join them. Working together, 3 churches, 1 facility, 1 mission.
And you know, several months ago, I represented MCEC at the installation of Roberson Mbayumvala at the Hagerman Mennonite Church. He's the first African-born pastor to be called to serve in an Anglo congregation in MCEC. I'd call that an intercultural miracle. Now, sure, these groups face some challenges, along with the joys they find in working together, but I think they are representing something for all of us in dealing with the diversity that is part of the changing face of Canadian society.
And the diversity is more than just cultural. Our new Canadian churches are also experiencing a generational shift, experienced earlier by second-generation German-speaking congregations. What does it mean to be a Lao church when the grandkids can't speak Lao? What does it mean when the language of instruction, it's a different language of instruction preferred between the teacher and the student?
Well, you can add theological diversity to your list, Jeff. Out there in MCEC, I think there's a pretty broad spectrum of how we understand things. For instance, I know that I've seen things and I've heard things that I did not see and hear growing up in the Floridale Mennonite Church. For instance, at the Tamil Christmas pageant, there are 10-year-olds. They're playing the roles of Mary and Joseph, the shepherds, the angels, except that they're dancing. And they're holding baby Jesus above their head and praising God.
That's a different Christmas pageant.
Well, it's a different Christmas pageant for us, but for them, it's normal. I've also been to all 8 of our Ethiopian and Eritrean congregations, and when they sing, you don't hear 4-part harmony. But what you do hear is the women trill, and well, sometimes the men. Here. They sound better than that, but that gives you an idea of the cultural diversity.
That may be true, but diversity isn't new to MCEC. When the 3 conferences joined in 1988, diversity was a really big deal. We were coming from 3 very divergent streams of theology and practice. If you look at our history, we haven't always agreed with each other. Ordaining women as pastors, remarrying divorced people, good examples of where we've had strong differences in the past. We had core Mennonite beliefs that we held in common, but I think what held us together was focusing on what we agreed on rather than what divided us. I think it was our common vision for church planting, our passion for passing on our faith to our youth and our young adults through camps and schools, and a sense of wanting to be in mission together that prompted the birth of MCEC in the first place.
So diversity is nothing new. It may look different now, but I think we can learn a thing or two from the past.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Esther. I find that encouraging. Diversity may be challenging at times, but I think if we can borrow a page from the past, maybe the way forward is to share a solid commitment that can unite us in one common center, a sense of mission that we're in together. I wonder if what is attracting new congregations to MCEC is the center around which we can unite as partners in God's reconciling ministry in the world. Can we name what that might be?
Well, I would say the centrality of Scripture is key. You know, we may not always agree on the interpretation, but we all do hold the Scripture as the center of our faith.
I would say holding Jesus Christ at the center of our lives, a daily discipleship that follows Jesus.
For me, it's a commitment to a nonviolent faith that cares for others and lives out God's peace and justice.
I'd say community. It's about a community of congregations being on the journey together, supporting each other, helping each other, learning from each other.
In addition to those, I think we have a strong desire to do God's mission, to be out there, joining God in God's work.
I think that's a great core around which to unite. We've named some important things that I think will help MCEC move into the next 25 years. The future may be challenging, but I believe we can move forward with confidence and trust. We know that the risen Christ is with us, and I think we can also draw on our Anabaptist conviction that God speaks through the entire community of faith and will help us find the wisdom to move forward into the future. I think the future is going to be exciting.
The next 25 years will bring about even more change and growth. However, with a strong identity, sense of God's mission, and a unified core of beliefs, there is no limit to where God can take us. How does your congregation engage some of these challenging questions? We invite you to join the conversation.